When you get to the fucking top 5, top 3 in the UFC, you've been through the fucking gauntlet. So, right now in boxing, and always in boxing, WBC, IBF, WBA, da 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 da, right? You go, well, who's the best?
Yeah.
And none of these guys are going to fight each other.
Yeah.
I don't know who if you are the fucking world champion,
Yeah.
there's no fucking questioning who the best is because you've already run through, the baddest fucking people in the world in your weight class.
So what happens if Yair Rodriguez beats Alexander Volkanovski? Is he the best in the world? Because currently he has 2 ranked wins. And to be honest, it's really just one because he had a fight with Brian Ortega that ended in an injury for Brian Ortega, which led him to be unable to continue. So Yair got that win by default. And then his other win is Josh Emmett. But Yair would be 1-1 with Alexander Volkanovski. He would have a loss to the current number 1 featherweight contender, Max Holloway. He also would have a loss from Brian Ortega, who's ranked number 7. So is he really the best in the world if he beats Volkanovski? Compared to a guy like Movsar Evloev, who, like Dana White described in that clip I showed earlier, has gone through the gauntlet. He has proven that he is next in line for a title shot. And if he beats Volk, he proves that he is clearly the best in the world in that weight class. And there would be no debate. Dana White always talks about how, in boxing, there's like 50 belts and you don't know who's really the best in the world. Whereas in the UFC, the best fight the best. Well, that clearly has been the case lately because for some reason, the clear-cut number 1 contenders haven't really been getting title shots. They've been passed over for, sometimes stars or sometimes, favorable guys that might, sell out shows in certain places in the world. And I don't know, I feel like, or guys who just have an exciting fighting style. And I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing that. I just want to see really the best fight the best. I feel like this issue has been happening in multiple weight classes in the men's divisions. Like, firstly, we go off with the heavyweight division. Obviously, we know that John Jones and Tom Aspinall they should fight, but clearly they're not fighting. And John Jones, he's out in Thailand doing whatever. And, just let him retire. Strip him off that belt and promote Tom Aspinall to the undisputed heavyweight championship. Because, we need some action. Tom Aspinall, he's definitely not fighting by July. So it's going to be, over a year since his last fight. And he's in the prime of his career. He can fight Cyril Gahn. He can fight Volkov again. He could potentially fight Pavlovich again. I mean, just even if it's rematches, just let him go out there and build his own legacy and become a star. Because Tom Aspinall, he could potentially be a massive star. I mean, this guy he's only seen the second round once in his whole UFC career, win or lose, and he's putting people away in spectacular fashion. He could easily be a star. He's massive in the UK. He's entertaining. He could be active. Just get rid of John Jones and let Tom Aspinall fight. Then in the light heavyweight division, it seems like Alex Pereira is having some problems with the UFC, and he tried to say that he was being hacked, but people quickly saw that he wasn't hacked, and it was very much a real tweet. And he deleted his video where he claimed it was a hack because he knew that he just looked ridiculous in making that claim. So he's clearly having some problems and issues with the UFC. Maybe not paying him enough money. Maybe they're trying to rush him back. Who knows what's going on? But apparently the UFC looked at Yair Proska or even Carlos Solberg, but they really should just be waiting for Alex Pereira, whatever he needs, and run that rematch with Ankalaev because he clearly deserves it. He beat Yuri, he beat Jamal Hill, Khalil Rountree, Jan Blachowicz in the most dominant fashion out of anyone else. And, there's no one else who really has a strong claim to get a title shot. And then you look at the lightweight division and, Charles Oliveira, he is a massive star. He is very exciting to watch. But the guy did lose to Arman Tsarukyan. And Ilia Topuria is a big star too, but he's got one, win at lightweight, which is Max Holloway. But that fight took place at featherweight, but Max Holloway is ranked in the lightweight division, so I guess you can count that as a win. But outside of that, he hasn't really done much in that weight class. And Arman Tsarukyan, he's been trying to call out everybody to fight, but no one seems to want to fight him, and he's kind of being ignore, like Justin Gaethje tried to call for a title fight instead of trying to fight Arman, which would have guaranteed a title fight if he were actually to go out there and beat Arman Tsarukyan. But it's just, yeah, a very odd situation where, again, the number one contender is not in the title conversation. And then there's the Bantamweight division where Merab is clearly the best in the world in that weight class. And then you have Sean O'Malley, who lost to him. It was like a fairly competitive fight, but he still lost. He defended his title one time against someone who clearly should not have been in a title fight ever. And now O'Malley is getting rematch. He's got 2 ranked wins, and arguably he's only got 1 because I thought he lost a Peter Yan fight, and technically he's 1-1 with Chito Vera, whether he likes it or not, and he actually got finished, whereas he won by decision. And to be fair, he did show that he was overall the better fighter, but it's still a 1-1 record on paper, and it's a part of his 2 ranked wins. And he's getting a title shot over Peter Yan, who has currently 3 ranked wins, and Corey Sandhagen, who actually has 5 ranked wins. So I think what should have really happened is Peter Yan versus Merab 2, and then Sean O'Malley versus Corey Sandhagen. Show us that you're getting better as a fighter, that you can actually beat some of these top-level guys, and that maybe you didn't just get like a gifted decision against Peter Yan or a lucky punch versus Aljamain Sterling. Prove that you're really the best in the world by taking on another top contender. Overall, I feel like undeserved title shots or number one contenders not fighting for the belt is getting just far too common in the UFC. Like, it's getting disgusting, especially with this Yair Rodriguez situation. Like, why would the UFC book a pay-per-view in Mexico when they have no active Mexican champions? Alexa Grasso had lost to the Spear. The UFC didn't know that, like, there's a 50-50 chance of Diego Lopez beating Volk. Like, why would you risk that? Like, it's not confirmed. Like, if Diego was already the champion, sure, book that fight in Mexico. But there's, like, he wasn't even a champion. It was a 50-50 that he was going to win that fight, and he lost. And Yair could have easily lost to Pitbull. I just don't know why the UFC didn't make that Mexico pay-per-view a fight night card. I mean, you could have had Yair Rodriguez versus Diego Lopez as the headliner, and maybe, like, you can have, like, an Irene Aldana on there. You can have maybe Alexa Grasso on there, some other Mexican fighters, Raul Rosas Jr., and build a card from there. But instead, they decided to make a pay-per-view when they had no champions. Like, it doesn't make any sense in the world. And now you're getting a champion who beat and finished the guy, and now he's going to have to rematch him and the guy who he dominated his hometown. They could have made the September pay-per-view in Australia versus Russia card, where it's headlined by JDM versus Islam, and then Volk versus Mozart, but instead they choose to go the Mexican route, and with no current Mexican champions, and like, it's just like, why? Like, it doesn't make any sense from the UFC. Hopefully this sorry behavior stops soon.